Hi all, welcome to Pump Up the Jam, where Christo Fufus and I we really devour this Harry and Meghan content. Christo,
Have you ever seen someone take the royal spotlight and completely flip the script? Meghan Markle's latest antics have left royal watchers stunned, again. From baffling PR moves to her rumoured controlling influence over Prince Harry, her behaviour has been called bizarre and narcissistic. But the real question is, will Harry ever wake up and return to the royal family?
it's been a slow week for Harry and Meghan. Are you ready to jump on the Harry and Meghan bandwagon this week?
I've always got a lot to say about the Poundland Prince and the Walmart Wallace, and that is what they are. Of course, I'm based in London, you're based in LA. We have two perspectives on the two Monas, and we're going to talk about Trooping the Colour and whether they should be there or not. What else are we talking about? The wedding of the year that they also weren't at.
We've got security. We've got a new story coming out that King Charles, that's my microphone and my dog. King Charles is allegedly unhappy with video calls, which is the first time I'm hearing about this story. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. But yeah, I feel like, just kind of off the topics that we're going to discuss, how bizarre for Meghan Markle to launch American Riviera Orchard in the middle of two major, three, if you look at Fergie, the King, and then the Princess of Wales. We did not necessarily know about the cancer immediately of the Princess of Wales. We knew about cancer with Fergie and the King. But isn't it bizarre to you? Because we're a few weeks into this. Not one tangible product available on Meghan's American Riviera Orchard. There were 50 jars of jam made. I think maybe 5, 6 people actually acknowledged that they received it. But to launch a brand in the middle of the royal family having a severe health crisis, what was the objective there when what's the return on investment when you and I can't even buy anything from Meghan Markle today? Does that not just seem very bizarre to you and narcissistic?
Well, thankfully we can't because, actually I've got enough dog poo bags and tea towels and, whatever else they're going to be selling, cheap novelty T-shirts. We've got them coming out of our ears over here. But you're right. I think that it is. I mean, clearly the fact that no products have actually come to fruition goes to show that there was no urgency on the launch. The launch did not need to take place then. You'd have some understanding, though I would have delayed it if it were me, but at least if there was a whole raft of products that had to be out on the shelves by a certain date, if there was an expiry date on that dog food, then you'd understand why they would have to rush out that launch. But there was nothing. There are no products. There's only sort of patents for products and expected products, and jam is a preserve. The clue's there. You can preserve jam. You don't need to send the jam there because it will preserve. So they didn't need to do that, and that actually does take us nicely to Trooping the Colour, I think, because
We're breaking it all down, so make sure you stick around until the end for some jaw-dropping insights. And hey, if you love keeping up with royal drama, hit that subscribe button now. Let's start with the latest headlines. Meghan's recent media appearances have sparked major controversy, with critics calling her out for being self-obsessed and attention-seeking.
there's a lot of talk about Trooping the Colour. Well, firstly, there's the talk of the snub of Harry and Meghan and whether they would have been invited, whether they would have come or not. And we'll get to that in a moment. But there's also a lot of talk about whether Princess Catherine will make an appearance. She sent her apologies for the Colonel event that was the sort of seen as the rehearsal for Trooping the Colour. She sent a heartfelt letter apologising for not being there. But there was some speculation that we might just see a wave on the balcony or something else. But I think that although that would be lovely, and if she was well enough to do that, it would be wonderful and it would be so reassuring. It's King Charles's day, and I've a gut feeling that even if she were well enough to appear, I think that then it would be all about, wow, we've seen Catherine, rather than King Charles and his Trooping the Colour and it being his birthday. So I think there lays the difference between Princess Catherine, and maybe I'll be eating my words if she does appear, and Meghan and Harry, in as much as that I think that there is the protocol, there is the not usurping, there is when there is a headline about someone who is of a senior rank or an event that is around someone of a senior rank, you don't take the attention away from them by sending out, jars of jam and talking about pet food.
I've seen a lot of people criticize Harry for not acknowledging D-Day, and I think he might have done that for the exact reason you said. He didn't want to distract from something so significant that his brother and father participated in on a stage with world leaders. If Harry would have released a statement about D-Day on Sussex.com, it would have looked like he was trying to distract from a really important moment for his father, who has cancer. I believe this was his first big trip post-cancer diagnosis. And it would have distracted from his brother, who stepped in for his father for at least one event throughout the D-Day services. So, I've seen some of the criticism. Oh, Harry, why didn't Harry say something? Why is there nothing about D-Day on Sussex.com? Maybe he actually saw the writing on the wall here and said it would be inappropriate for me to say or do anything.
And if that is the case, he deserves some credit for that, because there have been occasions before where they have, and I can't remember what occasion it was, you may know better than I, where they have released statements sort of at the same or similar time to other members of the royal family, and there is a hierarchy. If the king speaks first and then the other members of the family do so afterwards. You don't have more minor members of the family giving statements on a subject until, if the king is going to speak, the king does it first. And so if there is criticism of them for not acknowledging D-Day, then it's probably unfair, though there would be no reason why they couldn't send a statement out post D-Day.
From her staged paparazzi moments to her carefully curated image as a humanitarian, many are asking what's real and what's just a PR stunt. Royal experts say Meghan is trying to stay relevant in Hollywood, but is her strategy backfiring? Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, let's talk about Prince Harry. Once the fun-loving, carefree royal, he now seems like a completely different person. Many believe Meghan has isolated him from his family and shaped him into a new version of himself, one that doesn't even resemble the prince we once knew.
That would be acceptable once the king and Prince William had carried out all of their ceremonial events. They could have done then. Do you think there'll ever be another Trooping the Colour or any other event like that?
Do I think that Harry and Meghan will attend? Is that what you're asking?
Anything like that, Trooping the Colour this year, or anything like that in the future. I know some commentators have said they've been snubbed. I don't know whether I would call it that, because I don't think that there was much expectation that they would go. But it has got me thinking about all sorts of events like this. Will we ever see them at a major royal event again?
Well, the video that's circulating that I love, I don't know, this is so mean-spirited, and I apologize. I'll ask God's forgiveness tonight during my prayers. Yeah, so remember the video of Meghan at Trooping where Harry, sternly tells her to look forward? And there's, they've actually had some lip readers come out and dissect what they're saying. But she's annoyed on the balcony, what am I supposed to do? And Harry's like, look forward, look forward. So I really just don't think that is Meghan Markle. Well, I don't think that's Meghan Markle's jam. I don't think she enjoys that process. I think she's utterly annoyed by, and even, I bring this up constantly, but that Valentine Lowe quote, I can't believe I'm not getting paid for this. Meghan Markle's the type of girl that would show up to an appearance at a club and, get paid to stand there and look pretty in a nightclub. That is the Los Angeles lifestyle that she came from. So to stand on a balcony and, in potentially the rain, while a million cameras are fixated on you for free is not really something she looks forward to. But I agree with you. This is the idea of it being a snub. This is the royal family just not inviting them to Trooping for the second year in a row. It's not a snub. I think it's legitimately just the new normal.
Yeah, and also bearing in mind that King Charles is so obsessed with a slimmed down monarchy.
Well, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think that these are the circumstances that he made that comment over 10 years ago. I think these are unfortunate circumstances, but I don't think ever in his wildest dreams would he boot his son, his young. I don't think he was ever going to boot Harry from
No,
the.
I don't think so, but I don't think that he would have invited them to make up the numbers on a balcony that will probably look a bit sparse this year. I
Yeah.
don't think that there would be any question that he would do that, and that was the point I was going to make. So I don't think it's a snub either. I just don't think it would ever be expected for them to be at these things ever again. And I love that your take is because Meghan doesn't get an appearance fee. That's probably true. I wonder if she invoiced after other royal events. I wonder if she got one of her LA agents to sort of invoice for various things she was at. Maybe she invoiced her own wedding.
Body language analysts and insiders have pointed out that Harry looks unhappy, trapped, and sometimes even lost in their relationship. So, is he actually happy, or is he just stuck? If you're enjoying the breakdown, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Behind closed doors, the royal family is reportedly frustrated with Harry and Meghan's actions.
It was an appearance. She was there. So maybe she did. And of course, the other thing they didn't appear at this week was the Duke of Westminster's wedding. Now, there are a few conflicting reports about this. Some are saying it was about security, and this is obviously this ongoing issue that Harry has about his security.
Well, just that oil got pretty close, so maybe they have a point.
They did. So that's one aspect, and we'll talk more about his security in a moment. But the other, of course, big elephant in the room is the fact that Prince William was an usher. And of course, and again, are we being disingenuous? Was Prince Harry perhaps saying to himself, you know what, if me and William are there together, all the photos are going to be about me and William, and perhaps I will let the bride and groom enjoy their day, because it would never be for myself or Meghan to want to take the attention away from anyone else ever.
Well, that's very nice of you, Christo.
No, I was asking the question. I wasn't saying I thought that, but I was asking the question.
I really think that Harry wasn't invited. Because if you look all the way back to December 2023, that's when the story originally started circulating that Harry was considered a distraction and the Duke was potentially not even going to include him. And then we saw a tightening up of the Duke of Westminster's wedding planning. All of a sudden, everybody stopped talking. We couldn't figure out if Prince William was going to be an usher or a best man. There was a real, there was a real rule that no one else was allowed to say anything about this wedding. And I feel like because there was some truth to the December 2023 rumor or initial report that the Duke of Westminster wanted this day to be all about his bride, Olivia, and he understood that if Harry and Meghan came, the circus was going to follow.
Yeah, but the circus of their own making, because of course we have no idea whether a film crew would come along. We've no idea whether there would be a snub that might take place during the wedding ceremony. And when I say snub, I mean, I don't know, perhaps they weren't given a front row seat. Who knows what kind of nonsense that they would have come up with to have complained about afterwards, which would have taken away from the day. Also, as well, I mean, I hate to be ruthless about this, but if I had a choice between, I have to pick one of the brothers, I'm either going to pick the future king or I'm going to pick the one in Montecito who's going to manufacture dog food, I would choose, of course, the future king. That would be the eggs my basket would go in.
You are like the spare expert. Am I remembering incorrectly that Harry actually addresses the Duke of Westminster's family reacting negatively to his Oprah Winfrey interview? Doesn't he mention that in Spare?
King Charles is said to be keeping his distance, and Prince William, well, let's just say the brotherly bond seems shattered. Sources claim Meghan and Harry are no longer welcome in royal circles, so does this mean Harry will eventually realise what he's lost and try to come back, or has the damage already been done? Here's the million-dollar question. Will Prince Harry ever leave Meghan and return to the royal family? Some believe he's in too deep, while others think he might have a wake-up call sooner or later.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember that. Perhaps that's the therapy that I've had since that has wiped it from my memory. But I would not be surprised by that in the slightest, because, of course, they are all part of the set. There are incredibly loyal, and the idea of giving that sort of interview and throwing family members under the bus like that, and then subsequent other interviews, I would not be surprised. I'll need to look that up. Maybe we can revisit that next time. Hey, I'll bring my copy in next time and I'll read you a few passages from it. I know how much you enjoy that.
Yeah, it looks like a paper cut waiting to happen, but I do enjoy that. I do love when you
Paper
pull
cut
those
to your
back.
own throat to spare you the misery, no doubt, because it
Nice,
is a
nice.
very, very miserable read. Okay, now, do we think it might have been something to do with the security? Because, of course, security is a big concern of Prince Harry's. And no, you say no?
No, I think that that's just similar to Meghan not coming to the Invictus event, similar to Harry not staying at the palace. I feel like Harry and Meghan are fixated on proving their point when it comes to security, so they probably utilize that excuse a lot because they want to keep hammering home that they don't feel safe, and maybe they don't, and I'm sorry if they don't, but I don't think that they need armed security guards. I feel like when Harry comes home, Ravik's situation is clear. It's a case-by-case basis. And I think 90% of the time or 95% of the time, Ravik is going to choose to protect him in the way that he's requesting. And so I don't really buy their security concerns because I truly do feel like Ravik is going to protect them if he plays their game, gives them the 28 days or whatever they need, and plays their game. I think that they would be more willing to work with him.
Well, I think there's more than one issue. I've always thought, and I know you disagree with me on this, I've always thought that it was a little unfair that he lost all his royal security when he left the royal family. I think to scale it back, but to have still had a presence would have been legitimate. But whatever he's done, and whether he's a working member of the royal family or not, he will always be the son of the king and will always be a target for, especially with his military background, for terrorism or for those people who have ill intent. Now, whether that means he needs a full complement of security is another matter, but I think that they needed something, and I disagree with the decision to withdraw that. But where I think there is a difference is you're absolutely right. If they come to the United Kingdom, because the essence is that because their security have guns, when they come to the United Kingdom, I think that because they can't have guns, this is why Prince Harry is annoyed and feels that his security is under threat. But if he's at a royal event...
There are even whispers that he regrets some of his choices, but pride and loyalty to Meghan keep him from admitting it. What do you think? Will we ever see Harry return to his roots? Drop your predictions in the comments. So there you have it, the latest on Meghan Markle's bizarre behaviour and what it could mean for Prince Harry's future. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the latest royal drama. See you in the next one.